Knockout legends in the building. Like, comment, and subscribe. So today I want to talk about the juggernaut Joe Joyce and his upcoming bout with Big Bang Zhilei Zhang. Now, in the first fight, Joyce, he basically had to, well, not retire, but he got stopped, and because he had a cut over his right eye. Anyway, he is the holder of the WBO. Well, he was the holder of the WBO interim world heavyweight title, which is a bogus whatever title. Well, anyway, it sets you up usually for the mandatory. So he would have been next up to probably fight Alexander Usyk. So anyway, Joyce came third in the Olympics. He's got a record of 15-1. He has 14 knockouts, and he lost by a knockout in that match with Zhilei Zhang. In a way, Joyce has sort of been rushed through his career because obviously he's getting on. He's getting on in years, and then he probably turned professional pretty late when he should have turned professional a little bit sooner. But I think that's the way with older heavyweights when they've been through the amateur system and they've been through the Olympics. He's 38 now, and he's 6'6". He's got a reach of 80-inch reach, and he's a big unit. He's a big guy, you know. He's called a juggernaut because no matter what you throw at him, it doesn't stop him. But this time, in the bout where he fought Zhilei Zhang, just gone, it's 15th of April this year at the Copper Box Arena, he basically met his match. And I think it's a case of under preparing for a fighter and just not taking him as serious, because in the Joseph Parker fight, which was in the 24th of September last year, and the Daniel Dubois fight, that was the 28th of November in 2020, he took Daniel Dubois serious because obviously Daniel Dubois can hit, so he knew he had to kind of start out the way and block, and he just used his jab, he boxed him. But the Joe Joyce fight, I think he took a few shots, but he beat Joyce up, didn't he, really? So, and he got the knockout. That was at Manchester Arena, and that was for the WBO interim world heavyweight title. So that's why he was the holder of that. But anyway, the Zhilei Zhang rematch is an interesting one because a lot of people don't really rate Zhilei Zhang, but Zhilei Zhang is a pretty decent southpaw, and he's a big dude as well. And you know, he's got a record of 25 wins, 20 knockouts, and only one defeat. And arguably, you can argue that defeat that he had, that was against Filip Hrgović, sorry. That was last year, the 20th of August. He actually more or less won that. He just gassed because I don't know what it is with his conditioning, but he fights in spurts and he usually counter punches, so he relies on fighters to come at him. Then when they come at him, he throws his left and then catches them, which is what he did to Joyce. Now, I don't know if Joyce was ill prepared for that fight, or Joyce just didn't really even anticipate that it would be a problem with Zhang. He probably thought he could wear him down and then just beat him into submission, because that's kind of how he fights. But southpaw fighters, especially counter punchers, you have to take them seriously, especially ones that can knock people out. You have to take them seriously. But in a way, out the resume of the two fighters, I would say just about that Zhang has fought the better opposition, only just because even though over the 25 fights, the only notable people that stand out in his resume are Jerry Forrest, and arguably people say that he lost that fight even though it was a draw, and that was in the 27th of February 2021. Andrei Rudenko, and he beat him, but that was a while back. That was in the 30th of November, and that was 2019. And then obviously the Filip Hrgović fight, and now the Joe Joyce fight as well. But people say he won the Filip Hrgović fight, and he beat Joyce conclusively. So he has stepped up in his opposition, and he's fighting better opponents. Now, if we go back to Joe Joyce, even though he's only had 15 fights, he's fought, let's say, credible opponents, but a lot of them are probably washed at the point. But there is some decent people on there. If we go back, there's Bermain Stavern, who was World WBC heavyweight titleist. He fought him the 23rd of February 2019. Okay, there's Joe Hanks there as well, who has a record of 23-2, and he fought him on the 1st of December 2018. Then there's obviously Bryant Jennings, who he fought on the 13th of July 2019. Then Daniel Dubois, 28th of November 2020. Then Carlos Takam, 24th of July 2021. Christian Hammer, the 2nd of July 2022. Then Joseph Parker, the 24th of September 2022. And then obviously Zhilei Zhang, who we lost to. So in a way, I think Joe has fought probably the better opposition over a shorter time, but Zhang's got more experience and fought more opposition in general, and the step up probably is just that little bit higher for Zhang, in a sense that because he's had more fights, he's got more experience. But the only thing that's questionable is his gas tank. Now, Joyce has got a good gas tank, but the only thing is Joyce doesn't really box and move. Now, if Joyce can box and move in this upcoming rematch, he should be able to beat Zhang, because all he would need to do realistically is just box and move and use his jab from a distance and just circle him and stay away from the left. And by the 6th round, he should be tired. Then he could walk him down while circling outside and staying away from that left, and then just go for the kill. But I don't know if he actually was ill prepared for the last fight, because I noticed when he was doing the media workout, when he was doing the pads, he was doing it like he was fighting unorthodox. He was in an orthodox stance, and the pads were in an orthodox stance. So that's not going to prepare you to fight a southpaw. You have to know what shots to throw when you fight a southpaw, because they are tricky. Well, I should know, I'm one myself, but we are tricky opponents, because we're used to fighting right-handed people, so we know how to counter them in a way and what to do to get our punches off and be effective. So I don't know if Joyce didn't have sparring partners for that, or he just didn't take it serious. I think it was a combination of a few things. I think he didn't take Zhang serious and thought he'd just steamroll him, and I don't think he sparred correctly for that fight, and I don't think he was intimidated by anything that Zhang had. I think the language, in a way, sort of like the language barrier and just being who he was, I think he thought he'd just steamroll him and just take whatever punishment he had. When he got tired, he'd just beat him up, and that's wrong, because what's kind of happened to him is he's kind of what he did to Daniel Dubois. He just took so much punishment that eventually the fight ended up getting stopped. Fair enough, he didn't quit, but he got stopped. And Daniel, in a sense, people say he quit, but Daniel got stopped. The jabs to the eye, he couldn't see, and he got stopped. So the same thing, in a way, has happened to Joyce, but just in a different way. Just that he actually got stopped and got stopped by the referee, and Daniel just stopped himself, because there was nothing more really he could do physically. So in a way, he kind of should take a look at what he did to Daniel and not repeat that himself, so he doesn't lose the fight. But anyway, that's probably the only way he can actually win. Now, Zhang, if Zhang fights the same way he fought and actually trims down a little bit and moves as well and has better stamina, I think he can win the fight fairly comfortably, because even though he didn't really do much and he relied on Joyce coming forward and he just kept counterpunching him, if he can move as well and move into position to throw that left, then he will have a lot more success as well. So it might be a case of changing tactics just slightly, but anything's better than having nothing, because you're going to have to be able to maneuver that left in to throw it. And the thing is Zhang throws it pretty quick and snappy, so he's explosive when he's throwing these combinations and these punches. So if he can conserve energy for the later rounds, like the last 5 rounds, last 6 rounds of the fight, and he can move as well in those last 6 rounds, I think he can cause enough trouble for Joyce and win the fight. But my money on this fight, I'm going to go with Joyce, because he's got a lot to lose. So this, in a way, I wouldn't say it's his last chance, but it's his last opportunity to capture something that can actually propel him to a heavyweight title. And Daniel's already beat him to that, which is bizarre when you really think about it, because they're both Frank Warren fighters. But Daniel's already beat him to his heavyweight title bout, and he came up short against Usyk. But Joyce should have been ahead of Daniel because he beat Daniel, but he he's let himself slip by fighting Zhang and not taking Zhang serious, so he's fell back, where Daniel's kind of gone more forward further than him, even though he beat Daniel, which is bizarre. But that's how the heavyweight ranking system goes, and that's how the fights go. So it depends on how you get promoted in a way. But anyway, what are your thoughts on who will win the fight? I'm gonna go with Joyce on this one. I'm gonna think that he's gonna learn his lesson. He's gonna come in light, or he's gonna move, and he's gonna cover up, and he's not gonna come forward and allow Zhang to let off on him. And I think he's gonna pick his spots and throw his shots, and then once Zhang gets tired, probably in the 7th, 8th round, then he's going to wear him out, and then probably just jab him, and then hopefully he should be able to get him out there by the 9th or the 10th, because Zhang is tough. But anyway, barring that, it's going to either be a repeat, because Zhang will kind of just not have his number, and if he does have his number, then it's over for Joyce. And then I do think even if Joyce loses, he can come back, but it's a very long road to come back to, because as we can see, the heavyweight division, it's one of those where it's stagnant at the moment. Tyson Fury's not fighting anyone, so he's going to hold on to that belt for at least another flipping year or 2 years, definitely, where he fights anyone. So you're not going to get to fight him. And also, Usyk's already just fought, so Usyk's not going to fight for at least, probably not until the end of the year, maybe not even until next year. So that's going to be 6 months, unless somebody orders a mandatory for one of the other belts, which I'm probably hoping they will. Then that's when Usyk's going to fight, and because it's a mandatory, if Joyce doesn't win this interim title back, he may not have the chance to actually get called up in the mandatory. So he does need to win. He does need to win if he wants to actually get a world title before he reaches 40. So anyway, leave your thoughts in the comment section. Like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me who you think's going to win. And that is another one from Knockout Legends. Peace.